Right, everybody, welcome to your show, the real estate, the We the People Real Estate Podcast. We are live, episode 23. Thank you guys for joining us so much. Please like, share, comment. We got good topics today. Want to learn a little bit about real estate, a little bit about mortgages, what to do to get your next home, whether it's the right time to sell or not. Make sure you like and subscribe and share. And also, we're going to be talking about other topics like, did you know that Barack Obama is not supporting Kamala Harris on her campaign?
I've heard this.
I wonder why.
So here's a question. Okay, did you watch Biden speak last night? Try to speak.
Yeah, I watched some highlights. It's hard to listen to him.
Highlights, lowlights, no lights. Interesting. He brought up Kamala, whatever her name is. And
It's Kamala?
Yeah, Kamala. He did not endorse her. What he did was he said, I'd like to thank my vice president, Kamala Harris, for all of her hard work. She's highly qualified. She's this.
Wow.
So he threw out good words, but he did not endorse her, and nor has Obama.
That's interesting. But Biden did endorse her by paper.
I guess in paper he
Right.
did, but not on his address to the nation.
That might have been, a fake signature because he made up not. I don't want to support her, and then his wife just helps. I don't know.
Listen,
all right. We also got, if you want to get to know Kamala, this is a great episode for you. We got all the info that you need, or not all of it, but enough.
Well, most of it.
Yeah. We're gonna go over some ads and memes that are online, which are hilarious. Some are a little too much, but we're gonna show you the clean ones a little bit. And then we got the Biden-Harris legacy. We're going to take a look at what Biden and Kamala Harris has done through the whole legacy. They got such a big legacy that they created that we're gonna go through it.
Lots
of
legs.
Lastly, just on the last conversation, just because I think it's really important because it involves the family, Elon Musk stated that his son is dead.
Yeah.
He just stated it. So we're going to put the video on for you guys, and we're going to talk about it, what he means.
What killed him.
Right.
It's what killed him that you guys have to stay tuned for.
No, I got a lot to say about that. I'll tell you.
And there's some other Elon Musk news we're going to talk about, too, about his gigafactory in Mexico and how the thought of Trump getting elected could be already changing things.
It's changing
across
a lot
the
of
world.
stuff, right? Yeah. You talked about the rates last week.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. What's going on, everybody? This is We the People, a real estate podcast. Let's begin. All right, everybody. So as always, we're going to start with the rates. So Frank, this is your topic. I just want to say real quick, this rates that you guys see on the screen, normally we put the Google rates, but they've been pissing me off. They're
not even updated.
They still didn't update this week. So I didn't want to put the ones from June 25th last month. So we got a little updated this one. Frank, can you see that well?
I can see it now. I'm old.
It's okay.
What is it?
So it's saying top offers on bank rate is 6.16, and then we got national average at 6.86.
All right, so here we go, guys. So last week, actually the day that we did this podcast last week was the lowest day in interest rates in 2.5 years when we dropped down to 5.5% on the FHA and VA government rates. The conventional rates dropped to 5.99%. First of all, this Google crap where they haven't updated their rates in like a month. Carlos, there's got to be conspiracy here because why would Google, the biggest business organization in the world, giving out the most information, why would they not update them?
Yeah.
It's a freaking conspiracy.
Yeah.
It's the stupidest thing in the world. Why would you not update the rates? You're trying to hold back the economy for some reason, right?
Yeah, it's weird. Don't Google
weird.
the rates, guys. And if you do, look at the dates, look at the information. But if you really want to find out what the rate is, what you can actually get in your rate, because it's actually different by the credit that you have.
Yep.
Contact friendthebank.com, 813mortgage.com. That's what I tell my clients. Make sure you check them out.
Yeah.
And they'll get the information that you need. I mean, this week we approved. 2 weeks ago I approved the buyer up to $300,000. They couldn't find anything in St. Pete, and they just found a house for $350,000. And the wife literally said, Carlos, I really want this house. I want to try to get this house. I mean, we're just $50,000 short in terms of the pre-approval.
Right.
And she asked me, what can I do to get up there? And I said, the only thing that you could do is just add another buyer, a co-borrower. And she said, I'm really afraid because my credit is low. And her credit is at 650. That's not low.
That's actually higher than the average.
And she said to me, I can show you the text. She said to me, please don't judge me on my credit. Like, she was embarrassed about that credit because her husband's credit was so much higher.
Right.
Her husband's credit was in the 800s. But guys, the minimum, good minimum is 640, right, Frank?
Yeah.
And then if I think you've worked some deals with me
Carlos,
that are a 580 and higher.
We have no minimum credit score for veterans.
For veterans, right?
And 500 for FHA.
Right.
So we say anybody over 580, we consider pretty good because you can put 3.5% down and go FHA.
Yeah. So I gave her the information. I'm not like, hey, do your part of the application. We already got 300,000. Do your part of the application.
Yep.
Stop worrying about your credit. We can just find out. And that's it. The worst that can happen is they're going to say no. Nobody's going to call you and say, oh, your credit sucks. You can't buy. Nobody does that in this business.
No.
Okay,
So
we're
what
going to help
happened?
out. So we did the application, and the next morning I had a pre-approval for 350.
Boom,
That's it.
350. Now,
Lincoln Lending.
I thought you were going to say something else, which this is a great point. If you were pre-approved like a month or two ago, really, if you were pre-approved more than a couple weeks ago when rates were higher and they were closer to 7, right? I mean, they're always like in the mid 6s, but with us. But when they're a little higher, you should relook with us now, or if you're not with us, come to us, because with the rates dropping a point, that means you qualify for more. So somebody who maybe only qualified for 300, when the rates go down, you might automatically, with no change in your credit or income, qualify for 330.
Yeah,
Another
absolutely.
10%, right? So you have to check on this, and you have to work with a wholesale company. So this bankrate.com, this is the most accurate thing I've ever seen online.
Okay.
They're saying the top offers are 6.1, whatever it is, which means somebody out there, like Lincoln Lending, is offering that low rate. But when it says national average is 6.86, that's bullshit. That's nothing but a retail interest rate. Nobody should be getting a rate in the high 6s unless you're getting credits for your closing costs. Because remember, the credit and the cost on rates are related to each other.
Understood. Yep. Yeah, so guys, check it out. Just find out. Don't be in doubt. Just this is how you find out. You try to do the application, you figure it out, and at the very worst, you're going to find out what you need to do to get there.
In less than 24 hours. And it's free. It's contactfrankthebank.com, and it's free. Yeah. That's all you got to do. Well, I'll call you personally if you mention We the People.
Frank, anything else you want to talk about real estate related? Because I really don't have anything else, guys. Just buy your house if you can. If you are pre-approved, the market is definitely, active still for sure. And now that the news are out, talking about how Trump pretty much got it in the bag, people are coming out and buying because they know when he gets elected, the rates are going to come down, prices are going to go up. So wherever you want to stay, I mean, obviously, if you want to buy outside of the bigger city areas, you're going to get cheaper houses. But if you want to lock in a good price right now in Tampa or any of the major cities, this is the time to buy.
So here's where I'm going to leave you on the whole market thing. I am a firm believer. You, people listening right now on July 25th, 2024, you have 30 days. You have 30 days to make the best purchase of your life because I am a firm believer the Fed is going to lower the rates by the 22nd of the month in August. Wow. And when they do, everybody and their mothers is going to see it on the 6 o'clock news. And everybody who's been waiting to buy for the rates to go down a little bit, because guys, a lot of people want to move right now.
Frank, so let me poke you a little bit.
Oh, poke me, baby.
How are you such a firm believer on that? Like, what do you do that you're such a firm believer on those things?
Crystal ball.
Okay.
It's a little crystal ball. I have a magic 8 ball, and I said, and it says,
can you just share with the people how you get, what, like,
well, I'm a pretty confident guy.
Well, I know you're confident, but beyond that, I know you do the work to get the stuff
here's how I get
figured out.
It's real simple. Historically speaking, interest rates have always dropped in the 6 months prior to a presidential election.
Okay.
Every freaking year since 1960.
Good insight.
Okay?
Remember that.
So they haven't dropped yet. But every month when the Fed comes out and talks, they say something. They give you a clue. And you ever heard of the phrase where they say it's already baked into the market? Have you ever heard somebody say that?
No.
Well, I just had a meeting yesterday with a big shot financial planner who's tied with a bunch of CEOs at some of the banks like TD and Chase and some of these big companies. As you guys know, in the last year, banks have been paying higher interest on savings accounts and mutual funds and stuff like that. It went from getting 0.5% return on your savings account to about 4 or 5%, right? Behind the scenes, the banks over the last 3 months have been lowering the interest yields. They have been pulling back on the interest they're paying. Why would the banks pull back on the interest they're paying? There's only one reason. Rates are going to go down. And when rates go down, their yields go down. So they will literally get caught with their pants down If they keep saying they're going to pay 5% and the rates drop to 5%, that means the bank makes zero. But if the rate's 7 and they're paying 4, they're making a 3% yield. This is basic elementary math. So when I have multiple people in the financial sector telling me that the yields are decreasing, and then you have the Fed chairman come out just a couple weeks ago and all but say, we're expecting a rate decrease. And he has not said that in 2 years. He's been saying, oh, if this, then this. That shit's going down. And we only got 3 months left before the election. Right?
Elementary math for you,
Elementary.
Frank. You're in it. I'm telling you, look, I get this stuff, but I know most clients don't. So, which is why I
love
asked
you
the
asked the question. Yeah, that was a great question because sometimes I say stuff and I forget that people don't literally live in the financial
That is
world.
great information right there. So if you're in doubt, if you're trying to figure this stuff out, I mean, like that's clear as water right there. All right, let's get into this politics stuff, guys. So we got Barack doesn't think Kamala will win. Ooh, why doesn't Barack think she will win? Is there a plan B candidate? What do you think about this?
I do. I think the reason he hasn't endorsed, and I think the reason Biden did not do an endorsement during the address last night is because they're leaving this open until the DNC. I don't know what's going to happen, though, Carlos, because you see all these people saying she has enough delegates. She has enough delegates. She's got the nomination.
She made $84 million in like 2 days.
Yeah, well, the reason for that is they held all of the big donors held their money back because they knew that Biden wasn't the choice. So all they did was, but you know what? How bullshit scam that is? They just held it back because they didn't like Biden. As soon as somebody else besides Biden was there, they don't care who it is. They just gave their money. It is so brainless. It blows my mind.
I also saw her speech, and like, they never go back on the camera. Like you see a few hands in the front.
Oh, to see how many people are there?
Listen, I'm in the music industry. I did a music video once where it looked like there was 100 people there, and it was literally 10 people.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, come on. Like, to me, this stuff is obvious. When you're giving a speech, I mean, Trump has people behind him. There's so many people in front of him that he puts people behind him.
There's more people behind Trump at his rallies than there are in the entire rally of Kamala or Biden.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's like if you look at the speech, the whole time, one camera, one scene on her the whole time. Everything else that happens, you know, with the RNC or whatever, like as soon as the stadium is full of people, you don't think the cameraman's like, oh, look at all these people yelling and all these people clapping. Like that's one of the most important things that you collect in camera data so that you can provide that to the viewers. Nothing, just pure camera, pure staging. Just everything just feels like a movie. They just cameras, lights on, put a few people over here, say this stuff, and let's go. I can read that like so easily compared to, you know, watching Trump's where he goes completely off script. And all this other, right? Like it's so much enjoyable. It's like you have no idea what's gonna happen. Like this podcast, for example, which is live, and I will mess up every now and then, and Frank will correct me. Anyways, so. There are statements coming out that he doesn't believe she can win, and that's why he's not supporting her. Yeah. So here's what bothers me a little bit. It's like if you support Barack and then you supported Biden, aren't you in the same team?
I thought so.
Right?
I thought so.
Okay, so can we blame the whole team for everything that Biden has done? I mean,
of course,
it makes sense, right? You know, what was it that you said earlier? Elementary math?
Elementary math.
So 1 + 1 = 2, and 2 + 2 still equals 4? Or we're going to get into that, conversation where it equals something else?
I think it already equals something else. Listen, if you chose her as the vice president, one heartbeat away, one old-ass heartbeat away from the president, wouldn't that be completely contradictory to the whole thing if they didn't put her in?
It's weird, man. Like, Obama, to me, is like the face for any of this stuff. For example, I mean, he can talk better than any of these candidates, but the moment that anybody else gets into that position that it's not him, it's just falling apart everywhere. It's falling apart everywhere. Like everybody's seeing it. Like it's just too obvious.
Yeah. Here's a thought: the reason they pick her, if they do pick her, is because she's controllable. Think about it. You can't put Robert Kennedy, you can't put Newsom, you can't put one of these guys who actually has a personality and power and all this.
Newsom has a personality and power, but Newsom is controllable. I just don't think he will have the numbers either.
I don't think as many people know him.
And he supported Kamala. He endorsed her also.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I really think it's going to be Michelle, and I hope that by the time we find out that it's Michelle, we don't end up finding out that it's Michael Obama instead of Michelle Obama. I really hope that if it is Michelle, it stays Michelle.
Maybe
and we don't find out something that we should have known a long time ago. In my opinion.
Maybe something Obama knew.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who's the pitcher and who's the catcher? I got a button around here that says "Tarantam."
I think he's pitching.
Okay. Guys, let's get to know Kamala Harris, right? Don't we want to know Kamala
Let's meet
Harris?
the camel.
I mean, she's on the other side. Let's just get to know her. So, some facts here. She was raised in Canada, not in California. Okay. This is important because, you should be born in the United States to be the president. I completely agree with that 100%. But if you were raised in a different country and then you come back to the United States, I'm not saying that, you don't deserve to be the president, but that will raise some questions for me a little bit. When it comes to race, personally, I want an American-raised human being. Like somebody, I'm okay more with somebody being born in another country but raised in the United States.
Right, I agree.
Than the other way around.
I agree. Elon Musk.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if you're raised in this country, and man, you will get the foundation that, you should. I don't know about today's day.
I'm interested in the second one right here.
The second one says she is not African American. Her mother is East Indian, and her father is Bahamian.
Hey, man.
Yeah, this is true. There's pictures of her when she was younger.
I saw the one circulating this morning with the Indian family.
Yeah.
She's like her grandmother.
She's not African American. And why is this one big? First off, it doesn't matter what your background is, right? We're all Americans. But don't you feel like this whole time she's been black? Like,
I felt like she was black or talks black.
She talked like the black people. She would represent the black people. She talked for the black people at times.
Right.
Or at least she would put herself in those positions. Like, it's a little weird, like, to all of a sudden, oh, she's actually not black. Oh, okay.
Like, Bahamians don't, when I go to the Bahamas, they don't call themselves African Americans. They call themselves Bahamians. So, I don't know. Interesting. I find that interesting.
But is Bahama a country of the United States?
It's a country.
Yeah, but it's belongs to the United States.
No, Bahamas don't. Sovereign nation.
So why would they call themselves African American? Oh, because they're in the Americas. Okay, never mind.
I don't know.
My bad. She started her political career by having an affair with a married man and slept her way up the ladder. Oof.
That's what my college professor told me I'd have to do if I went into the news business.
I wonder if she slept with this man. Oh, that picture looks kind of. Just a thought. I'm not. I'm not saying anything. Please don't shoot me. I'm just a messenger. Okay. Don't aim the sniper at me.
Shoot his ear.
Yeah. She imprisoned over 2,000 blacks for simple marijuana possession while she was California AG. So yeah, this one was a big one because isn't it illegal to smoke in California now? So doesn't that contradict itself? Like, you make something legal, but before you made it legal, you put a bunch of people in jail and acted like it was, I don't know.
I think people should know about that record.
And just so that I can put it out there, just my thought on drugs. I think a lot of drugs, not all of them, but a lot of them, should just let people do whatever they want. Like, let them be free. An individual should be free to poison themselves if they want to. Like, it's just, and that's what it is.
It's your
Alcohol
body.
is poison. Smoking a cigarette is poison. Weed, everything. You may be putting bad things in your body, but it's your choice, right? Your body, your choice on the right area, not on the abortion area.
You are actually a South Park Republican, and that's more what I am too. And there's some people on the left right now watching. They're probably saying, "Whoa, I thought this guy is a Republican." Guys, not all Republicans believe that that everything has to be the same as somebody who's very far right. We are socially liberal. What that means is we want people to have their own rights and make their own decisions. And that's generally the difference. And somebody asked me, what's the difference of a Republican and a Democrat the other day? I said a Republican believes in small government and you making your own decisions and the government staying out of your life, but being there to protect you and having a strong military and things like that. Where the other side usually believes in, well, we don't know how to make the right decisions for our bodies, so we need to be told what to do.
Yeah.
Right?
I'd never like to call myself anything because I will always be a race fan.
Right?
Win or lose. But
a race fan?
Race. Tampa Bay Rays. Race.
He likes races.
Yeah, the Rays, the Tampa Bay Rays, the baseball team. I will always be a fan of that team, right? They'll always be my team. But when it comes to political parties,
right,
I can't choose a team. I'm choosing to vote a certain way.
Good point.
But in terms of like everything that one team describes, there are a few things that I may not agree with or that I may be a little bit different on. So I hate putting myself a title on that. You know, I looked at the what was it, the libertarians.
Yeah.
Those look, you know, like
A lot of us are actual libertarians.
Right. There's a lot of things in there. So then I started looking at different titles, and I'm like, well, which one am I? And then I'm like, why am I saying which one am I? And that's where I'm like, you know what? No titles. I'm just voting for values. But
who was it? I'm having a brain fart. Who's the lady who was the presidential candidate, the Republican who went the longest before she dropped out against Trump?
Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley. In her RNC speech, I will never forget this the rest of my life. I love how she put it. She said, because she was so outspoken against Trump, right?
I loved it too. I know where you're going with this.
She endorsed. She said, listen, we don't have to agree on everything.
Yeah.
We just agree on most things.
Right.
And that's a great way to put it.
It's as simple as
You
democracy.
should not agree with everything everybody said. You'd be crazy.
It's democracy. Democracy means you have 10 people and 8 of them say, let's turn off the light. And you do it because the majority said to turn off the light.
Right.
That's democracy right there, right?
Yeah.
So we can't focus on the 2 people that think that the United States suck and that want to burn the flags. No, we got to focus on the majority of Americans. And that's where I see the actual split between Democrats and Republicans. I feel like Democrats are making a lot of noise about the people that are basically the minority on the important decisions that this country needs to be made on.
Yeah.
And somehow, you know, they won the election.
They're louder.
Or they're, you know, I don't know, they're convincing some minds or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, did I read everything?
No, the last one, her own father.
Oh, yeah, her own father, by admission, says she is a descendant of one of the Hamilton Brown, one of the largest of the Hamilton Brown, one of the largest slave owner traders in Bahamian
history. Yeah. I've read that too. So she's a descendant of one of the biggest slave traders in history.
Yeah. Not anything against any, you know, slave trader descendant. I mean, it's not your fault, right? It's not her fault that slave existed or anything, but
Just
I mean,
like this reparations bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, none of us have slaves.
Can I get some reparations?
Yeah, I mean, what do I get?
Can I get? I need some reparations in the studio right here.
Man, I need some restoration on my house.
Man, while the working class American hustles, some just sit back and want to, you know, get paid.
Do nothing.
For nothing from our tax money.
What do we got
that's
next?
Incredible. All right, we got some ads here. Let's have a little bit of fun here.
Yeah.
First, we got a little meme that we saw. I thought it was pretty funny. Check this out.
That was a good one.
I enjoyed that one. And this one, you know, cover your eyes if you want to. I just thought it was hilarious. I never kissed any parrots to get here, but maybe a cockatoo.
I love cockatoos.
I mean, dude,
they're the ones that go.
I like that one. Yeah. Is there any more? I think that's it. Okay.
Those are good. That was fun.
So let's go over their legacy. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Look at
That's
how
a
many
good
things
legacy.
they accomplished. Oh my goodness.
Man, 15 million of unvetted
15
illegals.
million unvetted illegals into the country. Historic inflation crisis. Record high gas prices in all 50 states. Record high gas prices. Record high consumer debt. Release terrorists into the country. Ukraine, Russia, war. That is the biggest for me. All right, no wars. In my president needs to have no wars. That's how I feel about things. We got Israel Hamas war. We got disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. I mean, that cost us $350 million, plus more problems to come in the future with those guns that are ours that are going to be happening around the world.
Yep.
You know, with our decisions that we made this last 4 years. Violent crime skyrocketing. Tried to jail political rival in name of democracy. This is a big one. This is Stalin type of leadership. You know, this is communism. I know very well how this stuff works right here. So some of the big one right there. Declared war on American energy. I don't know much about that one, but you probably do, Frank. I'm just, you know, stating it. Record low test scores for K-12 students. Why? Because instead of teaching students how to think, they taught them how to feel.
Yep.
Wow, how important to not let the parents parent.
How do you feel about failing that math test?
I feel
like a dumbass.
I feel okay because my feelings are empowered by this administration. Most unpopular president and VP in history. Yeah, guys, I just, if it has not become more and more obvious that the elections were stolen, like I don't need to go through a court case. I don't need the evidence. I understand the evidence needs to, speaks for itself in a lot of things. But personally, I don't need evidence, man. It makes so much sense. We had COVID. I mean, you could destroy evidence. That's why that exists, right?
I think so.
Right. So we have COVID that completely, took the whole situation that Trump had and unwinded it a little bit. Then we got, people mailing ballots and a bunch of crazy stuff with the elections in the middle of the night. The longest elections I've ever experienced in my lifetime. So doubt there, right? And then you have 4 years of this nonsense and putting your political opponent in jail. On top of that, trying to assassinate him. I mean, there's reports coming out now that Iran is the one that tried to assassinate him. If it is Iran, then think about this. Who allowed Iran to attack Israel? Who lifted the sanctions against Iran?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much that just points at the Democrat Party. And if we're pointing at the Democrat Party, we're not pointing at anybody directly that is in leadership. We're pointing at the donors, the people that are putting in the money to make these moves so that they can empower themselves more. The people that want to control the world population, the 2030 agenda. I mean, it goes deep. If you actually look into it, it goes pretty deep. It's pretty crazy.
It does. It's scary.
I'm just saying. And then if you look even deeper, you can look at good versus evil. Which one's really the good side and the evil side?
Yep.
Which one's really looking at Satan, and which one's really trying to say, "Hey, God, please save this country." I mean, it's that simple. It's you just have to open your eyes at this time. Like it's crazy how things are going. But if you actually pay attention to both sides, there's a lot of weird stuff going in one side, and everything's staying the same in the other, and trying to save America in the other. It's that simple.
I just encourage the people, if you don't believe it, just turn on the other channel for 10 minutes. Watch Fox News for a few minutes. I watch the other side.
I do
too.
I
see. So you have, if you don't watch both sides,
you
have no opinion.
Yeah, I have to watch the other side, even if I don't like it.
Right.
All right, last topic we got going on here.
It happened to one of my
Elon
my
Musk.
older boys.
Let's take a listen.
Where I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This is before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. I was told, Xavier might commit suicide if he did.
That was a lie right from the outset.
Incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
That's
so I
personal
was tricked into doing this, it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. Anyway, and so I lost my son essentially. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
All right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So.
Yeah, and there's lots of people in that situation now.
Right.
It's not pretty, and lots of demolished kids.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason to be the final straw. All right, so let's.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that.
That would be enough, right?
Damn, it took the death of his son, and he's vowed to destroy the woke mind virus.
You understand that he's not really dead, like dead.
He's not dead.
No, he's what he stated is brain dead, meaning your son is dead to you. Like imagine how much you have to hate.
Wait, he didn't
your
actually
son.
die?
No, not an actual death. So what they do is that they basically put a virus into your mind with these medications, with the woke virus is what he calls it, with the puberty blockers. They're turning you into a different person. Think about puberty. Like one of your most important parts of growing up, right? You get into your teenage years, you start feeling a bunch of emotions, a bunch of craziness is going on. You don't know how to handle stress, depression, or whatever may have happened in your life. And all of a sudden people are fitting into you that, that you're not a man or a woman, you're in a spectrum, you can choose this, you can choose that. The doctors are talking about. Have you ever seen What Is a Woman?
No.
You need to watch that. You need to watch it. It's basically one of the things that I'm the most afraid of as a parent right now. It's when they take basically your kids, and as doctors, they use them as tests for this, transgender thing where they cut their genitals off at the, later on, and they're injecting a bunch of puberties. I mean, once they get the injections on, they might be doing it for depression reasons, but after that, it starts creating, like it changes you. Like
changes your persona, changes
right.
everything.
So once you start the injections, things go in different directions. So that's the most important step. Like not letting a doctor or somebody tell you how to handle your son's suicidal thoughts. Suicidal thoughts are dark and they're horrible, but there's something deeper going on, and there's a lot of ways to help your son. I don't think injections of anything. Maybe some antidepressants might help.
I know that there is scientific proof that whole thing is bullshit. That the suicide rate is, I don't remember the number, but exponentially higher for people who have taken these drugs and tried to change themselves, because they do it at a young age when you can't make. I mean, bro, think about when you're 18, you make dumb decisions, right? You're not mature. Imagine when you're 12 or 14.
I have people that I know in Miami that I love and care for, like older men that took care of me growing up at times, that were part of my family, not blood related, but
right, yeah.
And they have kids that have gone through this. They have kids that were girls, and they completely transformed themselves. And it's a little bit, it's so scary, man. I mean, personally, like I always, wherever they're at, I'm not going. I don't want my kids like hanging out with kids that are in that position. And that may sound like something horrible to some of you, but my job is to protect my kids. I do not care for my kids asking me what is what do you call it, what do you call those people, the
transgender?
Yeah, but the ones
don't
that
take your
do
kid to Disney.
Right, like it's. I mean, I'm not taking him to
for
Disney.
Years,
I took Disney off. I took Netflix off. Netflix is another one. They're pushing LGBT content to kids.
Yeah,
like, dude, like, okay, a teenager, I understand. Maybe you're finding yourself, whatever. But kids, hold on a second. Like, you don't talk to my kids about anything sexual. Like, there's no reason to do that.
Well, it just doesn't have a place in schools, and it doesn't have a place in the kids' content.
Again, like, let's just teach the kids how to think, not how to, not how to feel, or
just thank God we live in Florida,
that for the parents. Yeah,
if Florida and
it's happening in Florida, Frank. That's what I'm telling you. It's happening in Miami with a lot of people. This thing that just happened to Elon Musk has happened to a lot of parents out there. If I know somebody, there's a lot of people going through this,
right?
And that is one of my biggest fears right now. It's like my kids going through something where they come back to me and they're like, no, you're wrong, and I hate you, and you just hate people, and blah, blah. And all of a sudden, like, how do you get him back? And the only way that I can prevent that is making sure that they're homeschooled and not being, taken advantage by anybody that I don't know.
Well, that was what I was going to say. It is the schools. It is the only, because you can control what happens in your
society,
home.
Yeah.
But in the damn schools, you have to be very careful. And I know it does happen here. I know somebody close to me, and it's happened. And it's the school went to them and was saying, hey, we couldn't even tell you, but your daughter wants to be called by this name now, and blah, blah, blah. And they told him that he was in the wrong for fighting it. Now, he ended up going along with it for a short amount of time, but in the end, she came around. So you just have to focus on your kids, and if your kids are in school, especially public school, you just need to be vigilant, and you need to know who your teachers are, what they're teaching, and you got to ask the kids questions.
Yeah, and think about this too. Some of you guys may be like, they did it to Elon Musk. Isn't he the smartest guy in the world? Like, how did he not know? How did they trick them? Here's the thing, Elon Musk, I'm not gonna say that he's a great father, because to be a great father, in my opinion, in a lot of ways, you gotta try to be there. At least try to be there as much as you can. And Elon has had kids with a bunch of different people, which, it happens to a lot of men. I'm not, saying, but the point is that if he's not there, if you're not there as a father, it could definitely happen to your kid, no matter how good of a father you may think you are. So if it happened to him and he has all this money and all this power, imagine what can happen to you that don't have much. So I think what's important is not the money that you have or anything like that. Just pour into your kids as much love as possible, as much listening as possible. Hear them out. Make sure you hear their feelings and how they actually feel. And one thing that I got from my pastor at church, because I've been asking him some questions on this stuff, is just ask them first, how do you feel about that? You know, what do you think about that situation?
Right.
And most of the times, they should be telling you it's wrong. I think it's wrong. Right. And that is a great example because you're not telling them that it's wrong. They do it themselves. And if they don't, then you can explain to them what's wrong about it and, you know, whatever, however best you can. But at the end, I mean, I'm not talking against any sexual desires or whatever. I'm just talking about the kids, guys. Like, let's
Adults,
let the kids
do whatever you want.
Enjoy their lives. That's all I'm saying.
And don't watch JoJo Siwa.
Yeah. And don't put your kids on Netflix right now. I'm telling you, it's a few shows that start off just wrong right away. And if you're not paying attention to that, they're gonna see it. I know Nimona is one of them. I know there's another one called Tico, I believe, or Kudo. I've seen them myself because I gotta pay attention to this stuff. Now as a parent, that is one of the biggest things. We gotta pay attention to what our kids are watching and stuff. And it's hard times, but it's better than having a situation that you may not know how to handle.
You can save their lives.
That's right. Thank you, Frank.
Man, great show,
Another
man.
episode 23, guys. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share, like, comparte,
Let's do
if
it.
you like the content, make sure you also comment. And I need to see some comments in here. If you agree, disagree, whatever. We like to talk live with you guys with the comments and stuff. So if you guys, now that we're growing in numbers a little bit, we got a little more views than before. I'd like to see some comments, guys. So don't be afraid to share your thoughts and opinions on stuff in here with us, okay? I'll see you guys on the next episode of We the People Real Estate Podcast. Let's go.
See ya.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This is We the People, a real estate podcast. Make sure to subscribe.